My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. Every single week, we break down full UFC fight cards. We give you our picks, our bets, and our fantasy plays. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our content. And we're also giving away $50. Anybody who goes to WeWantPicks.com/bets, signs up with one of our 5 betting partners, and makes a deposit, will get $50 from us. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, however you want it. And this is brought to you by EarnU.io. EarnU.io is the world's first sports and esports prediction game, allowing you to earn crypto risk-free. Check it out now at EarnU.io. Next up, at UFC Vegas 52, we have Clay Guida taking on Claudio Puelles. Clay Guida, 37-21 overall, 2-3 in his last 5. Coming off one of the most impressive comeback wins you will ever see. Claudio Puelles, 11-2 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, riding a 4-fight win streak. Clay Guida is a legend, and he is officially over 40 years old. He's definitely starting to slow down, but even a slow Clay Guida is very high-paced guy with great cardio, relentless wrestling, and solid striking. He makes up for some technical gaps with speed, volume, and pace. He's coming off an insane come-from-behind win over Leandro Santos. He was completely outstruck, almost finished, and then somehow weathered the storm and got his own submission win to pretty much cement his legacy as one of the most exciting guys to ever fight in the UFC. Claudio Puelles is a fantastic grappler. He's coming off a knee bar win over Chris Grutzmacher. Before that, he had a decision win over Jordan Leavitt, and that was after a 2-year layoff. He's only 26 years old, and he has a good amount of experience. He is a grappler. He does use kicks well to keep distance, and he's never out of a fight. And we saw that with Felipe Silva. He was on his way to losing a decision before he snatched up a knee bar. He averages around 3 takedowns per fight, but he does have a negative striking differential of almost 1-2, so he is hit twice for every 1 strike he lands. This fight's somewhat similar to Clay's last fight as far as styles are concerned. The difference here, though, is that Claudio Puelles is young, he's hungry, he's dangerous. In Clay's ridiculously long 35-fight UFC career, he only has 2 wins against people who took him down. So in 35 fights, there have only been 2 times where he was taken down and won the fight. And I always say, I just said it last breakdown, it is much easier to finish a bad takedown than it is to defend a good one. And I see Puelles entertaining the striking, but ultimately pushing that grappling game plan, shooting takedowns, and getting Clay to the ground. I don't think he's going to submit Clay, but I also don't think he's going to have too much trouble dealing with Clay's movement and riding him out for a 3-round decision. So I am surprisingly going against Clay Guida here. I like Claudio Puelles to win.
My man, Clay Guida, the original first ever lock of the week. Over a year ago when we first started doing lock of the week, I started 0-2, and my man, Clay Guida, came through for me against Michael Johnson. Felt good seeing that. I looked at this matchup, and I looked at it once. I looked at it twice. I texted you, Angela. I'm like, I can't believe Clay Guida is a favorite. Then I looked into it a little bit more. You mentioned Puelles as the grappler that he is. I rewatched that Jordan Leavitt fight, and I thought it was kind of a beat. When I remember in my mind, it was a beating that Puelles put on Leavitt bell to bell. But he was taken down by Leavitt, and he's one of those jiu-jitsu guys that doesn't really have great takedowns. He's not a wrestler, and he kind of relies on his scrambling ability to win those exchanges. So even if you try to take him down, he will go with the takedown and kind of try to roll through it to win a scramble, and he usually does, and that's how he was able to win that fight versus Jordan Leavitt, was he won most of those scrambles. But against a real wrestler like Clay Guida, I don't know if he can rely on just winning a scramble versus Clay Guida. Clay Guida is a very good grappler in his own right. And even Mark Madsen didn't even try to wrestle with Clay Guida because he knows how exhausting and tiring Clay Guida can make those fights. Yes, you can get on his hips, but he's going to give everything he has to make sure he does not get on the ground. And if he does, he is very capable on the ground to get back at his feet or threaten submission in his own right. And Puelles is a very, very patient guy in those scrambles. And usually that's a good thing. Against Jordan Leavitt, he was able to kind of go through step by step. You see him, he doesn't get too excited. He doesn't freak out. He doesn't try to power through scrambles. But against a guy like Clay Guida, I almost think that you have to have a little bit more sense of urgency in those scrambles. And if this comes down to, I know I keep saying scrambles over and over, but if this comes down to it, I think I like Clay Guida to win those. Yeah, Clay. I like Clay Guida to win those. Former lock of the week guy, and he actually, I was thinking about making him my lock of the week, but the rules say it's got to be an underdog. He is the favorite right now, which was a little bit surprising. But when I look at this fight, I don't see where Puelles wins the fight. Does he win like a wrestling decision? I don't think so. Does he finish Clay Guida? Good luck doing that, especially on the ground. Maybe he gets a weird knockout or something. But Clay Guida, with his pace and his wrestling ability, I gotta go with Clay Guida. I honestly can't believe he's a favorite, but I'm picking Clay Guida. I just think he has more paths to victory, and I don't see where Puelles is better than Clay Guida. And just pure jiu-jitsu, maybe, but Clay Guida's been there, man.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I think these odds are probably correct, honestly. I just like Claudio Puelles because if you look at Clay Guida, let's look at his last 2 fights. He lost a striking match to Mark Madsen. And in his last fight, he was 99% out. Barely survived. Leandro Santos, who's also 40-something years old, got tired himself and then lost. So I hear you, Clay Guida. I'm a big Clay Guida guy. I also picked him against Mike Johnson in that fight. He's very talented.
Did you make him your lock, though? I can't remember.
Yeah, no, I don't need gimmicks. So. No gimmicks.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Yeah, okay. I think he's fading fast. I don't think he's anywhere near what he used to be, and I think it's just been shielded by the fact that he had that comeback.
How do you think Puelles wins the fight? How do you see Puelles winning the fight?
I see him getting takedowns and controlling and dominating.
I think his takedowns.
I also think he can win the striking exchanges. Clay Guida's movement
he's not going to win the striking versus Guida.
Mark Madsen, there wasn't a person on earth that said the Olympic wrestler
Mark Madsen is a much better striker than Puelles.
It doesn't matter. Nobody thought it was even possible. And he basically... People say it was a close fight. The stats don't tell that story. And I can see Puelles, young, hungry, doesn't have cardio issues, has phenomenal jiu-jitsu, decent takedowns. He does shoot takedowns. He's not, a Mackenzie Dern or Jordan Levitt.
No, DC was making fun of all his takedowns in that one fight. He was, what do they call him, a knee dragger or something like that. Just dropped to a knee and was just like running after people on his knee and stuff. Not good takedowns. So not going to work for Clay Guida. He's got to hope to win a scramble.
He's still getting the takedowns, I guess is the point. He's taking the shots and he's getting takedowns.
Mark Madsen didn't even try to take him down.
He did one time, and then he said, but he didn't need to because he was winning the striking exchanges.
I know. But...
So anyway, this is not a hill I'm going to die on. I'm not going to die on this hill. I think this is a close. I just said I think the odds are correct. I think Clay Guida is aging a lot faster than we think he is. And if you look at his last 2 fights, it's easy to say, "Oh, the Mark Madsen fight was close," and he won the last fight, but he wasn't though. He wasn't. So I do like Clay Guida.
Mark Madsen fight wasn't Mark Madsen a huge favorite?
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember honestly. So I think, listen, frankly, Clay Guida probably should win. I do think these odds are correct, and literally Clay Guida's path is take down Puelles and hold him there, or jab and run around in circles like the Energizer.
He's just got to turn this into a chaos fight. I wouldn't go to the ground with Puelles because that's I think his path to victory. So I would just do what you do: get in his face, get out of his face, jump around, pop him, and make this dirty. The uglier this gets, the more it favors Clay Guida.
Yeah, like I said, it's not a hill I'm going to die on. This is not. This is not like Rafa Garcia last week when everybody was like ridiculously against that pick for some reason. And I just could not understand why people did not agree with that pick. I'm not in that camp here. Right. And you know what? Maybe I'm having too much of an issue with Clay Guida's age and his last 2 fights. Maybe I'm putting too much stock into that.
The way his side to side movement against a guy who doesn't really have great takedowns anyway, it's gonna be so hard for Claudio to get those takedowns, man, because he's not a wrestler. He's just not a wrestler.
I hear you. Anyway, DraftKings is straight up pick 'em. So I imagine you have Clay Guida in your lineup, or no, because it's just jabbing and moving for 15 minutes.
I don't know if I trust him that much. I think that he has more ways to win the fight because he is tougher and can grind out a decision, and I don't think he's going to get taken down. But, I mean, he is old, and Puelles is a very, very dangerous guy on the ground with submission threats. So I don't trust him enough. But my pick is Guida, but I don't trust him enough.
Yeah, I'll have to look at my how my DraftKings flesh out because I think Puelles wins, but I don't think he's going to submit Clay Guida. So, then what am I spending $8,000 for? So I got to take a look there. Monkey knife fight 60 to 64. It's so funny that it's like dead even because if anybody who thinks Clay Guida wins thinks he's freaking like a cartoon, just a tornado of dust, and he's just punching Puelles in the face the whole time, right? So I'm surprised that they have an even strike line here. So what do you think of this monkey knife fight strike line?
More.
Okay, you're just writing essays. Yeah, I don't know what to do with that strike line. Maybe it's a more. I do think it's a pretty competitive fight, and they go at it. Jacob Lines in the live chat is going to get banned. Anyway, WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our 5 betting partners, and we will send you $50 as a thank you. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit.